Flying snakes, belonging to the genus Chrysopelia, are the only snakes known to achieve controlled gliding by flattening their bodies and undulating in midair. They inhabit tropical forests stretching from India across Southeast Asia to the Indonesian archipelago, usually dwelling high in the canopy and rarely descending to the ground. These slender arboreal snakes typically measure between 0.6 and 1.2 meters in length and weigh only a few hundred grams. To initiate a glide, the snake moves to the edge of a branch, forming a loose J shape, and then launches itself forward. Immediately after takeoff, a rapid transformation occurs. The snake expands its ribs outward, flattening its body from top to bottom, converting its normally cylindrical form into a broad, wing-like surface. Once airborne, the snake arches its body into an S-shaped posture when viewed from above. This is not random movement. It is controlled and highly functional. The snake begins high-amplitude undulatory motion. The head and front of the body swings side to side, sending traveling waves down its length, while the rear portion oscillates vertically. These movements play a critical role in stability. Much like a swimmer moving through water, the snake uses these waves to maintain balance in the air. By adjusting the pattern and amplitude of these undulations, the snake can actively control its trajectory. It is not simply gliding, it is steering. Observations have shown that flying snakes can execute turns of up to 90 degrees using only subtle changes in their body movement. Throughout the glide, the flattened body functions as a wing, but not a typical one. In cross-section, the body takes on a triangular profile with a concave underside and slight outward edges along the sides. This shape is essential. It allows air to be trapped beneath the body, increasing pressure below while air flows more smoothly above. This pressure difference generates lift, and it is this lift, combined with continuous body motion, that allows a limbless reptile to remain airborne. Scientists have studied the aerodynamic performance of this body shape in controlled experiments. Using wind tunnels and 3D printed models based on the snake's cross-section, researchers were able to measure how air flows around the body. The results were unexpected. At certain angles, the flattened body generates a significant amount of lift. The lift coefficient peaks at around 1.9 when the body is tilted approximately 35 degrees relative to the airflow. But at zero angle, the same shape produces almost no lift, even slightly negative lift. This means that body orientation is critical. A small change in angle can completely alter aerodynamic performance. The lift-to-drag ratio also reaches its maximum, around 2.7, at this same angle. In practical terms, this defines how the snake moves through the air. It cannot gain altitude, only convert height into distance. As it glides, potential energy is gradually exchanged for forward motion. The higher the starting point, the farther it can travel. During flight, most of the snake's weight is supported by aerodynamic lift generated entirely by its body. No wings, no external structures, just shape, angle, and movement. Field observations confirm that flying snakes are highly effective gliders. In one study, researchers filmed Chrysopelia paradisi launching from a height of 9.6 meters. On average, the snakes traveled about 10 meters horizontally. During these glides, forward speeds reached approximately 8 to 10 meters per second, while vertical descent occurred at around 6.4 meters per second. The trajectory was not steep. The average angle of descent was roughly 28 degrees, and in some cases, as shallow as 13 degrees. This shallow descent is significant. It indicates an efficient glide. The glide ratio, measuring horizontal distance relative to vertical drop, can reach values of around 4.5 for this species. In simple terms, the snake can travel several meters forward for every meter it loses in height. Performance also varies with size. Smaller individuals tend to glide more efficiently. Juvenile snakes, in particular, often achieve proportionally longer distances relative to their body size. Under natural conditions, glides are often much longer than those recorded in controlled experiments. Observations in the wild report distances of 30 meters or more between trees. And, under ideal conditions, some glides may approach 100 meters. These results confirm that flying snakes are not simply falling, but performing controlled, efficient aerial movement. A few clarifications are important. First, the term flying snake can be misleading. These snakes do not gain altitude. Instead, they rely on a downward launch and glide toward a lower landing point. In still air, their movement after takeoff is entirely passive. They do not generate thrust, only lift and control. Second, flying snakes are not dangerous to humans. Their venom is mild and adapted specifically for small prey. They are rear-fanged, meaning their fangs are positioned toward the back of the mouth, making effective bites on large animals unlikely. As a result, human encounters are rare and generally harmless. Finally, despite their unusual appearance and motion, their gliding is highly controlled. They do not tumble unpredictably through the air. In most cases, they land precisely on vegetation or safely on the ground. What appears chaotic is in fact a refined and stable form of movement. In summary, flying snakes in Southeast Asia achieve gliding through a coordinated sequence of body changes and movement. They begin by launching from an elevated position, then actively expand their ribs and flatten their bodies into an aerodynamic shape. As they descend, they move in a rhythmic S-shaped pattern, generating both lift and control without the use of wings. This adaptation allows the entire body to function as a lifting surface. A structure designed for crawling becomes capable of controlled flight. This ability enables efficient movement through the forest canopy, allowing the snake to travel between trees while avoiding the ground. Scientific studies of this behavior have shown how physical principles and biological structure work together. Aerodynamics and anatomy combined into a single functional system. Flying snakes demonstrate that aerial movement does not require wings, only the ability to interact with air in the right way.